All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. Today we're working on our Hughes 440 finally. Going back together with it, got all the problems corrected, and it's time to put it together. So I'll start off with some bearing clearances. Don't pay any attention to that 526 back here with the Jessel on it or any of that stuff. That'll be back soon, waiting on some parts for it, but we gotta keep building, so let's go. I think the only thing on this you really missed was me pressure washing it and brushing it out and repainting it and sticking the camshaft in yesterday. This is the original Hughes cam that was in the build itself, and our owner wants to reuse it with the lifters in the exact order that they go. So I knocked our cam bearings in yesterday, cleaned everything up, painted everything, and then put our block plugs in. So this is kind of every man's 440, I think, because anybody would like to have it and own it. And remember last time we had some issues with our thrust. The old thrust bearing had smoked itself, and it was all from the backside, pressure plate or whatever. But we got us all new bearings, obviously. And we re-line honed, Rick Seaman re-line honed the engine, and we're ready to go back. So that all looks nice. Crankshaft's been cleaned up and polished, and we can go back together. The pistons, we had a failure with the old one, so we can't reuse it. So I'll bring you all along for that journey today. So we've already been turned 10 and 10 on our crankshaft. See the old balancing they did here, a little bit of weld stacked. Here's our new bearings, MA10s, 5025s. So I need to check the clearance on these today. Just because it says 10, they could have went a little bit more and ground us some extra clearance into it. I do have the old main bearing still. I could check the clearance on just for fun and see what its difference is. But I've got a range in my mind that I'm happy with, and I'll tell you as we go along here. Sealed power, usually here we are. I would like for them to pack these a little bit better. If you noticed, there was a video in the past when I was working on a 360 for the Little Red Express. They had some that were crunched in the box. This box looks really nice. It didn't have any major issues with it. And these came from Summit, so instead of the local parts store. Either way, you could always have damage. Step one, I check, be sure we are 10 thousandths. There we are. So I'll get these mocked into place and torque our caps down so we can actually check that. And I will, again, check the shaft diameters on our crankshaft. Here's one of the main reasons we chose sealed power on this deal. We needed a 10 thousandths bearing, and this one has the wide flanged thrust. So this is just for mock-up now. I'm probably gonna go ahead and modify that a little bit, hopefully to help with some lube. And I've seen that in other people's videos. I've never done it in a video before. But you'll see it today. And we've got a wide flange thrust to help prevent any issues and give us a little more surface area for the oil to get through. We can start at the very beginning. A very fine place to start. See how she goes. Just under 3, not more than 2 3/4. I kind of like that. Nice. Let me check the front side. 3, 2 3/4. Right there. I'm happy with that, folks. Truthfully, I would want anything 2.5. 3.5 would be pretty loose. Whoever ground the crankshaft, I think did a super great job because it was like within 1/10 everywhere. And to me, it looked like they took almost exactly 10 thousandths off. So it wasn't high side, low side. It was like dead in the center. So Right now we've got 2 3/4 on the tight end. So let me check some more and I'll get back with you on this. But right now I'm really pleased. I figured go ahead and do the thrust. The faces of this feel really nicely in line. I know you don't always get that, you know, when we're whacking cranks and all that stuff to set thrust, but man, that feels great torqued right now. I have to pull off number one because my gauge is a little short. On the back side, there's our 3. Right on 3. I'm almost touching that bearing shell, so let me pull it out so I don't mess it up. Okay. Now, just barely below 3. I mean, that looked closer to 3 than the front one did. Let's try the other half. A little under 3, barely under 3 right there. I'm tickled with that too, folks. So this is checking the thrust without the top cap on, so we'd know what the max would be right now. We're on 0. Relaxed is right at 6, so that's happy. So if we put the cap on and it is 2 or 1 or something crazy, then we know the caps are so misaligned that we have a problem. But hopefully we can get it back to 5 or 6 after I torque the center cap down. There's 0. We got our caps lightly torqued and we whacked back and forth. So we're checking the thrust right now for real. And there's a little bit of assembly lube in there, so you'll hear a squishy sound. 0. Top side of 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful. 2 to 7 is the spec. Checking rod bearing clearance on our Hughes 440 here. Bringing her down. Give it a little twist. We're just over 2.5. Can you look at that, Jay? Call it 2 7/10. I like that because it almost exactly matches the shaft diameter. And here's our bearings for the people playing along at home. CB12 1512V-10. I think we got those from Jigs. And our new pistons are on. Looks a lot better than the old ones. I think the biggest issue people have with these KB pistons is when they fail, they didn't file the top ring enough. They give you in the instructions, they want like 6.5 thousandths gap factor, whatever you want to call. So in our application, we're going 28 thousandths on the top ring, which it seems like a lot, but we do it in race stuff all the time. It's just a little bit different animal. But there it is. I'm using the old one. Here's my extra long extension to go to that lifter. This is my lifter for checking flat tappet stuff. And it won't collapse. It's been bushed up. We're going to degree the cam. I got number 1 piston in. It looks happy. and we're at max lift right now. It's showing about 109 on the cheat sheet here if you look at intake center line and go up, but we're going to check it anyway. I'm going to go backwards first, and you go past, and then you pull it this way because we're taking the slack out. I need like that much. 59. That's it. Look like 59? Mm-hmm. Now we're back to max lift almost. Right there. And we're going forward so we don't have to go, since the chain's pulling the slack out of that side, we won't have to go backwards because that would ruin our measurement. I need like that much. 59 and one, we'll call it 147. When I pulled this apart, it had a nice timing set, but the chain was pretty loose. And it was set exactly like this one. Kind of hard to tell. It was set on the keyway retarded 2 degrees. And I have the cam information I can put up for you. But right now I'm at 104 intake center line. I'm going to leave it alone. And that'll be our 4 degrees. Everything seems nice. This new chain rolls smoothly. It's a little bit tight right now, but I haven't soaked it. It doesn't have any pressure on it at all. I only have number 1 piston in. And I think I'm ready to knock the others in. We got all of our pistons in and happy. But people always ask, what's the deck height? So we'll check it. Looks like 79. We can do it either way. 78 and a half. Right there. Close enough. We are below deck. So if I zero on 78 and a half, and then I check it here, looks like 20 and a half. Not bad. I know the block's probably been decked. You can see the fine marks there, but 20 and a half below. I can use that to figure compression because the old piston didn't have this little groove here for the valve reliefs. It was just a wide open thing. So I'm not sure if they made their dome smaller or what, but we're good to go. We got ourselves a nifty little short block now. The new pistons are in, pulleys are on, brackets are on. I'm waiting on the heads to get back with the new springs. If you'll recall, previously the valve springs that were on here had 8 or 10 shims stacked under them, and we're all kind of funky. So we're getting those replaced and ready for the cam. Speaking of cam, it's in, it looks nice. We're going back with the exact same lifters on this cam in the exact same hole. So I have all those marked and ready to drop back in soon. I wanted to go ahead and get the heads put on, but I don't have any heads to put on, so now we wait. Thank y'all for watching. I do not have the heads back, but I do have the flow numbers on these heads because they are the Hughes ported stage 2 head. So I was curious as a Mopar fan, what kind of flow numbers did they get out of these stock cast iron? I believe they're 975 castings, which are less known, but pretty much the same as like a 452. And they weren't just stellar. So quick as I get those heads back here, I'll do a little breakdown for you, show you those numbers. The same day I had those flowed, I also had a small block, a brand new pair of small block trick flows flowed. And the small block heads beat the Hughes. Anyway, you'll see. Thank y'all for watching. I got more.